Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster. I'm with the lovely
Des Flanagan.
and our fabulous
even
guest.
Lovelier.
Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm Rosie Diver.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Rosie. Massive thank you to Des. So Sandra is poorly sick. She went dragon boat racing on Sunday in Salford. Didn't end up in the dragon boat, which was going to be a red-faced moment, but I'm going to leave that so she can tell us all about it. But I think she ended up freezing cold and I don't know. She just said that she's caught something in Salford. So she was freezing cold. So she's got like a really bad cough and an earache and stuff. So thanks, Des, for stepping in to her place.
No problem. Nice.
Which is cool. And Rosie, amazing to have you. I think Rosie, been trying to get Rosie for about 4 months and I kept on double booking and putting the wrong date in and everything. So apologies, Rosie, but it's lovely to have you here tonight.
Thank you. It's okay, isn't it? It's about being flexible.
It's about being flexible.
Never a problem.
So shout out to the kids, any little people who've done amazing things this week. Rosie, have you got any little people that you want to shout out to?
Yeah. So I do Duke of Edinburgh's Award with the guides over here on the Wirral. And I've got a little team who started off not really knowing which way to set a map or which way was left and which way was right. yeah, but it's kind of important if they're doing DV. And so I had a real chat with them on Sunday and they've just come on in leaps and bounds. So they are so ready. They've done the work, and it pays off and it shows. So shout out to all the kids in my DV team.
Amazing. Yeah, and what do they do? Do they do certain activities? Do they go out and about and stuff like that?
So for DV, you have to do 4 things. 3 you do on your own. So you do some sort of volunteering and giving back. You do some sort of skill and then you do something physical. And then the team thing is the expedition. So yeah, for bronze, they do 2 nights. They're completely independent. 2 days, 1 night. So these guys have come from real quite cotton wool, wrapped in cotton wool backgrounds to being quite independent. It's fabulous to see.
Brilliant. Yeah. I love that. So Sandra says, good evening, Rosie. I'm sorry that I'm not there this evening. And then she says, thank you, Des. There you go.
You're welcome, Scotty.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're not here too. It's lovely to see Des, but I'm sorry you're not here. And I'm sorry you're poorly, Sandra.
I know. Yeah. Des, have you got any young people, little people that you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Lynn's great nephew. She was minding him on Sunday, right? And she took him out and she said, you can have anything you want. What would you like? And we got the big sweets, chocolate, a toy. You know what he said? He said, I want some flowers for me nanny. And you know what? I thought that was really nice at that age for him to say that, And it reminded me, I don't know if you've ever seen that clip of it was a documentary maker and he was in an African village and he left some sweets by a tree about 50 yards away from a group of about 10 kids. And he said, whoever gets to the tree first can have the sweets. And they all held hands and went together so they'd arrive at the same time. And that was with no instruction or direction. It was just instinctive. And I've never forgot that. And I thought, there's a lesson there,
There is. Had to be liking it to get the sweets first, just saying.
No, but
and elbowed anyone who got me
each other, And I thought it was lovely.
Beautiful.
So little Daniel, I'll give him a mention. Well done, Daniel.
Well done, Daniel. Well done. Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to the children from Hayfield School, which is over on the Wirral. And they came to Liverpool John Moores University last Wednesday and joined in our activity. So we did Movement Matters and they came over and so they're year 6, going into senior school. And we took whack-a-ball and we took Lou as well. And we were going to play whack-a-ball. And this fella come over and he went, he said, whack-a-ball. He went, how are you going to get them to hold the racket? And I went, like that. I just held the racket. And he just looked at me and he went, well, it looks a bit tricky. I said, well, yeah. He said, once you've been playing for a while, it can be. Anyway, I had this little boy called Lewis who, what he did in 20 minutes has taken me 6 weeks with other kids to teach.
Wow.
He was unbelievable. And I said to his teacher, I went, take a video of us doing this, because it was just absolutely outstanding. He was playing a rally after 20 minutes worth of instruction. He was unbelievable. So massive shout out to all the kids at Hayfield School. They were brilliant. They were really good.
Hayfield.
Yeah. Well done, yeah.
Success. Andy Murray, start with whack-it ball and then move on to greater things.
Honestly, he was amazing. He was unbelievable. His hand-eye coordination was brilliant. So success this week for you personally, something that you've done personally that's been amazing. Des, go on.
Well, what was going to be a success this week has turned into my embarrassing moment. So I'll save your embarrassment.
Save it. Yeah. Do you have a success this week, though? You must have something successful.
Do you know what? Not that I can think of. Because I had a good week last week. So it's just carrying on really from last week. But my red face moment was a bit of it.
We'll save that. We'll save that for the red face.
Not good.
Craig Donaldson's listening in and he says hello, also a big hello to Craig. So Craig's from Liverpool John Moores Union. They were
Hi, Craig.
With John Howie. Rosie, success for you personally this week?
If we take this week as the last 7 days, is that all right? Actually, now this sounds a bit self-indulgent, but I went on holiday. I haven't been actually away, I know, on holiday. And the sad thing is, I booked a holiday in March, but I was so poorly. You know, you say, be careful what you wish for. And I've been going, no, I'm having a break. I'm having a complete digital detox. I won't be seeing clients and I won't be using my phone. And yes, 5 days I was in bed and absolutely floored with something. So I just sneaked 3 days away and I said to myself, so I'm going to be well and I'm going to Wales and I'm going to go walking and I'm going to have a digital detox as well. So I got finally, yay, what I wish for.
Amazing. Brilliant. I love that. I love the digital detox thing and we'll talk more about the digital detox as we go along, but amazing, brilliant. So my success this week is I do yoga now on a Sunday, Monday and Tuesday night. So Phil goes to work and then I do yoga. And I can now put my hands flat like that on the floor, you know, on a forward bend. So about 3 weeks ago, I was like that. And now I'm like that, which to many people, but my next goal is to get my head to touch my knees. That's my next goal, like on a fold, you know, when the body folds. But the difference it makes is absolutely phenomenal to your body. And I did this mad breathing thing last night, which was brilliant, and then slept like a log. It was just, it was amazing.
Is that just doing yoga, Helen? You've got that extra 4 or 5 inches, yeah?
Yeah. Just pure flexibility. So normally on a Monday, I'm not very flexible, and by the time on a Friday, I am, because I train every day, you know, I train clients every day. So I tend to do like the cool down. So your muscle's like a piece of blue tack. And if you squash the piece of blue tack and go like that, then you can stretch it loads, can't you?
Yeah.
If you pick the piece of blue tack and you pull it, it snaps. And that's why your muscle snaps and pulls and stuff like that. So I always say it's like a piece of blue tack. So the more you make it supple and the more you squish it, the longer it'll stretch. And the difference in just doing yoga, and I'm going to try and do it every single day this week. I'm doing another little program. So I'm going to try and go for it every single day. But the difference it makes is amazing. You know, you just feel like they're tall and everything. It's boss.
Good.
Yeah.
So I've never done yoga. Well, I've tried it, and I've tried a couple of online programs. You know, yoga with Adrienne and all of that on YouTube.
She's quality.
And she's fabulous. Apart from the fact that you know, I like the dog. Anyway, and she just does yoga for beginners, and I laugh. I'm the most unbendy person, and she goes, and suddenly we're into downward dog, and I look and oh, come on. Suddenly we're not, actually, my love. I need a chair. I can do downward dog on a chair, so good on you. But I am hoping, actually, to start yoga in a class, you know, back face to face.
Yeah.
Because I'm really quite bendy one way for the canoeing, and I'm really quite stiff the other way, and I need to be kind of double-sided to canoe. So yeah,
definitely bendy on both sides, isn't it? Yeah.
you do.
So Dave Fairberg's listening in, and he says, "Evening, the legend that is Rosie Diver. Des and Helen are all right too, as well. Like, and then he goes, I love Rosie's backgrounds. I always wanted to sing 'The Hills Are Alive' with the sound of music when he sees her. Please don't."
Well, he can do what he likes, can't he? In the comfort of his own room, as long as we.
Well, he can, yeah. As long as we don't have to listen to it. Off you go.
Rosie, ask him, and I bet you he doesn't know the words. Ask him.
I will next time I see him. Yeah.
Craig saying he could do with trying that, Helen. Might take a few years to bend, but why not start? Craig, you're in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just do a little tiny 20-minute yogi at the end. I only do beginners yoga. I'm not an advanced yogi. But I think when I was growing up, yoga was like tree huggers, wasn't it? And had a bit of a bad name, whereas now yoga's super trendy. And I think if I'd have been younger, I'd have definitely 1,000,000% gone down the yoga route, as well as, do your fitness, but adding yoga into it. That's why Ryan Giggs ended up playing Premier League football till he was 40, because he did yoga. He did yoga every day. Yeah. So John Howie's listening, and he says he's in Jim's cafe, not the gym. So we're going to play this or that. Des and I are going to ask. I'm going to ask you, and Des is going to ask me, and Rosie questions. Okay. Des, do you want to go first, or am I going first?
Oh, go on. You go first, Helen. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask Rosie first. Okay. A coastal walk or a mountain walk?
Coastal.
No, didn't hesitate there, did she? Coastal straight away. What about you, Des?
It's that intoxicating mix of water and scenery. Yeah.
Do you know what? I've just crossed my first one off there. It's all right. I've got 4 though. Because at coastal walk, if it's at the water's edge, when you're walking along the beach.
Yeah.
But if it's not on the water's edge, I'd rather be in the mountains. Yeah.
I'd rather be in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% in the mountains. Yeah. Good one. And Des and I don't confer. You see. We've got one. We've had one. Okay, Des, your go.
Okay, you're at a big corporate fundraising bash, and you win first prize in the raffle, but you have to pick one of 2 options.
Ooh.
To go and see your favourite West End musical, or go and have a big slap-up meal in a Michelin star restaurant in London.
Who you're asking first?
Helen.
West End musical, hands down.
Okay. Rosie?
Yeah, I'm with Helen. West End musical, every single time.
And me. Yeah. So, yeah. What's your favourite musical, Rosie?
I think it has to be Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice.
Good.
So I'm an 80s chick.
Yeah.
Oh no, I am not 80. For anybody listening, chick. Yeah. Oh, ABBA every time. Yeah.
ABBA, good shout. Yeah.
Good.
What's your
my favorite musical? Singing in the Rain.
Oh yeah.
What's yours, Des?
Mine's Chorus Line. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Amazing.
Anyway.
Boss. Okay. My go now. Okay. Canoe or paddleboard, Rosie?
Oh, canoe. I can't stand up. Well, I can stand up on a paddleboard, but I've only ever been paddleboarding, I think, 3 times in my life. I'm a canoeist. Absolutely. You can fit coffee, champagne, lunch, the dog, 2 small children, and anything else you want to in a canoe. You can't do that. Well, I mean, it's just so much harder on a paddleboard. No. Canoe, you sit down. What can I say?
Canoe, good one. What about you, Des?
Canoe. It'd have to be canoe. Yeah, a bit more control, I think, in a canoe. And plus the fact that it looks better on the top of your car. If you're that way inclined.
the number of times when it's, I've got the boat on the car and it's lashing down with rain, and I think, actually, I'm all right.
I was only kidding, by the way.
Both options, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only kidding there, Rosie. You didn't know you actually put yours on the car. But
Yeah.
Of course. Where else would you put it?
Yeah.
Where else are you going to put it? Yeah. Paddleboard for me. So Marty Sang, who was one of our guests, took us. So Sandra went in the canoe on the Albert Dock, and I'd never paddleboard. And he set the paddleboard up for me, which was just amazing. And I want to go and buy one. I was like scrolling through then to buy one, and I was thinking, oh, I just need to buy one of these. It's just
You'll have to
amazing.
Come and join me at Paddle Club.
Definitely, I've looked at it, and then we need to do them of a not on a worky time and of different times and things like that. But definitely, 100%, it was just amazing, and it didn't fall in. No, got up and stayed up and didn't fall in with the helping hand of Sangi. But canoeing, paddleboarding in the Albert Dock, and then you go through, and you see in Liverpool from a totally different angle was absolutely amazing. So Sandra's red Facebook. I'm going to come to that. I'm not going to read it now, San. I'm going to read that, but I thought it might have been something like that. Okay, we'll read that out in a bit when we get to red face. Okay, Des.
This is the second one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going on a transatlantic flight. It's 6 hours, this flight. And you get on the plane, there's only 2 seats available. One is next to a highly intelligent person, so you can have good conversations about a lot of subjects. And the other seat is next to somebody who's nothing like that, but is dead funny. Which seat would you sit in?
Who you're asking first?
Sorry, Rosie. That's you first.
I think I'd like to laugh all the way over. The funny person.
Yeah. Well, you, Ellen.
Yeah. 100%. I'd want to laugh all the way through.
I would. But I'd have to say, listen, I'm going to sleep for 4 hours, but wake us up with a joke. Yeah. But it'd have to be the funny person, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. When you finished your walk, Rosie, okay, a glass of cider or a hot chocolate?
Actually, it would be a long gin, but a glass of cider, hot chocolate. No, glass of cider.
Glass of cider, yeah, or a gin, yeah.
Gin, yeah,
a gin, yeah. What about you, Des?
That's a tricky one, though.
I know.
Do you know what? I'd probably go with a hot chocolate. Being on a long mountain walk, yeah.
I'd go. There's nothing. I'd probably go hot chocolate, like after you've finished a walk or a hike, or you come off the water or anything like that. Hot chocolate's amazing. But I didn't really. I used to drink cider when I was younger, and then I went to lager. We used to finish a walk in North Wales. We had a caravan in North Wales. And we used to finish, and that was when Magnus cider had sort of first come out, and we used to just get a pint of Magnus cider, but you can only drink like one. But it was like the nicest drink ever, Sandra says hot chocolate cider is disgusting. Dave Verbeek, a brown mix for me. There you go. We'll have a brown mix. Showing your age there, Dave. Okay, last one for you, Des, is it? Yeah, last one.
Okay, so you're invisible for a day. What would you do? Would you like to sneak in to the cabinet meeting at number 10, or sneak into the royal family while they're having the dinner to see what they're talking about? Helen?
Can I smack somebody when I'm invisible? Will they feel it?
Not in this story, no.
Then I'd go to the royal family then and listen to what they were talking about. Yeah, because they do me head in, all the others. But if I could smack somebody, I'd go to number 10.
Yeah, okay. Well, you, Rosie.
Well, do you know, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Can I slap somebody? Yeah. Can I move anything or change anything, or just go, for the love of God, can you not just get a grip and write it somewhere? Or even, could you not just comb your hair? That's my big bugbear. Just comb your hair. Well, if I can't, I think I'd go to the royal family, and I wouldn't necessarily listen to them, but I'd really like a sneaky look round Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Des?
You would listen to them if you were invisible. I think you would
No,
anyway.
no, I'd like to go and play with the corgis and look round the apartments and enjoy the bits the public can't see.
1000%. I'd love to be in a cabinet meeting at number 10.
Would you?
You know, to find out what the real agenda is.
I know.
You know.
So Dave says cabinet meeting at number 10 and bumped a lot of them off. Sandra goes no politics because we're not allowed to talk about politics on the show. That's part of our thing. We're not allowed to speak politics or religion. That was our thing. Craig loves a cider, and then he goes smack the Royals and then do the same at number 10.
Yeah. Now, see,
there you go.
Caused a bit of trouble here. And that wouldn't have been one of my this or that's if you hadn't said the first one.
I know. Right, so we're super delighted that Rosie's taken her time to spend with us tonight. We've known Rosie for a long years, 8-9 years, something like that, 7-8 years. Met Rosie, and she's done amazing things. And I'm not going to give any more away. I'm going to hand it over to Rosie. She's going to tell us her story of what she was doing to where she is now, to how she's done it. Rosie, we've got about half an hour. Des and I will just chip in as we go along. Okay, over to you.
Thank you. So let me start with telling you why I'm drinking juice. So I had a CT scan today. I have a CT scan every 6 months, and I have had for the last 2.5 years. And if anybody out there knows about a CT scan, they tell you to drink lots because it flushes the yuck through your system. And I had a CT scan because in November 2018, I was diagnosed with melanoma, a stage 3 melanoma on my foot. Now, lots of people, when I say that, go, on your foot? I thought you got melanomas on your head or your arms. 20%, for women, 20% of melanomas happen below the knee. Bonkers. But that's what it is. It was a mole gone rogue. So if you think about the size of the bottom of your coffee cup, I have that much taken off my foot, all the way down to the muscle face. That's quite a lot, actually, on your instep. I then had what's called targeted gene therapy, which is super clever. So it's brand new 2 years ago, where the pills target the genes that stop the cancer cells from growing, so your immune system can munch away at it. I mean, it is super clever, and I always felt a fraud. I would take 5 pills a day, and I would go and I would collect my monthly pills, and there would be people in Clatterbridge Hospital who were proper poorly, and they were there for massive chemo injections, and I would bounce in because I was very conscious about what I was wearing because I was going to be weighed, so obviously you have to be a bit careful, don't you, about what you're wearing. And they would say, any side effects, any tiredness? And I would go, well, actually, yeah, I did a 800-meter climb, nearly needed an oxygen tent at the top, and they would look at me and they would say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. No, actually, I'm fine, I'm absolutely fine. And then I would bounce out again for the next month. And it got to February 2020, and I got my last lot of pills. I was on this gene therapy for a year, and I thought, I love helping people. I absolutely love helping people as an IT trainer, digital skills coach. But all my life, I never intended to sit behind a desk. I want to be up a hill or on a river. Why don't I set myself up in business? I'm qualified to go up hills. I'm qualified to take people up hills. I'm qualified to take people down rivers. I've only ever done it as a volunteer. Why don't I try and do it for me and live the life that I really, really love and take other people with me? And then, if you recall, March 2020, nobody was going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, whose grand idea was it to start an outdoor adventure business? Well, anyway, so fast forward a little bit, and I thought I would do some sort of proof to see whether or not it would work. And I asked a friend of mine to do me a paddleboarding course, and there were so many people clamoring to take part in this paddleboarding course. I then did a mini paddleboarding festival, which I filled in September last year. And it was just from that I thought, right, this has legs, if you pardon the pun. So you've kind of got a choice, haven't you? You can look at a cancer diagnosis as a death knell, to put it politely, or bluntly, or you can just go, actually, do you know, I can do something with it. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to me, my body thought, oh, I've got a new superpower. I can grow cancer cells. And I had kidney cancer, which a marvellous CT scan picked up. So last April, I had my kidney cancer blasted, which made me even more determined to make a go of doing the things that I love. And if you're in business, everybody will tell you to niche. You can't deal with everybody, pick a niche. And my niche is for women only. And there's kind of several hundred reasons for that. All my paddling life, I've always been in the minority as a woman paddling, canoeing, always. I'm in the minority as a canoe coach. And I just thought we can change this. We can alter the balance here. Nobody in the paddling community thinks anything of a gang of lads, gentlemen, saying, right, we're going out, who's coming? Yeah. And it all being an all-male event. Nobody thinks, it never crosses anybody's mind to go, where are the women? Whereas if you go, this is women only, the amount of stick I get for it's not equal and it's not. No, it's not. No, absolutely, it's not. I'm redressing the balance.
Yeah.
You know, and I do that in one of my other businesses as well. I have a women's in business networking franchise, and it's the women equivalent of the old boy network, where we're doing it, where women supporting women, because there's enormous power in it, and I am so passionate about it. It runs through everything that I do in my life. So this summer we are ramping up. So we are walking for well-being, and that's the other thing actually about the lockdown. I thought the hardest thing I would have to get over would be the physical and most importantly the mental well-being that you feel, the mental health benefits of being out. But of course the pandemic's done that for me. That is no longer my biggest marketing challenge, because you just go, you feel much better after being outside, don't you? And everybody goes, yeah, I know. You know.
Yeah, I think massively the hour, you know, when they said you need to go out for an hour a day, the amount of people who actually went out for that hour a day, you know, to feel better, and I'm outside, you know, most of the time. I love being outdoors, but there's lots and lots of people who are now sharing that. And you know, we were talking about, do you want to be by the sea, or do you want to be by the trees, or, you know, and stuff like that. And I massively have realised I'm a tree person. You know, that's my chill out time, is when I'm out. So people go, oh, you never stop, you're always out. And I was only talking about this today. And I said, but my quiet time is when I'm out. So my quiet time is when I'm out walking and I've got the dog and I'm in the woods and, you know, playing hide and seek and stuff like that. That's actually my quiet and my relaxing time. And you're a 3-peaker, aren't you, Des? We'll get that in there.
I've told you. That was a long time ago, but But yeah, I've done the Three Peaks, and but I love the training for it, to be honest, because I trained for about between 3 and 6 months beforehand, and that's what got me into it. I loved it. It's I can't describe the feel. It's really good feeling when you're in the mountains, especially when it's freezing cold. I don't know why. It doesn't have to be a nice day for me. I just like the mountains. It's quite exhilarating, to be honest. If you haven't done it, try it, because it's great. And I didn't think I'd get into it, but I did in a big way. So yeah, so well done, Rosie, on that. So you're having about now, aren't you? You're taking groups out tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. The beauty of coming up hills and out into the countryside is actually we live in a city that, don't take this the wrong way, but where it's easy to get out of into fabulous countryside. Okay, an hour you're in the Clwyds, North Wales. You don't have to go far, an hour you're perhaps on the Sandstone Trail at Frodsham or Runcorn, or go up to Pendle. It doesn't have to be the Himalayas to get up and out. One of the most fun experiences I had in the last couple of months, I checked the DV routes, and I'm just meandering along a fabulous little footpath in Cheshire, and 3 alpacas looking over the fence.
Amazing.
I wasn't aware alpacas were native to Cheshire, but apparently they are.
Yeah.
It's all the sort of bonkers fun stuff you can do, isn't it?
You can take alpacas for a walk now, can't you? You can take them for a walk. You can go on a trek and take an alpaca for a walk, can't you?
I think that's what I think that's what the sort of farm is. Yeah, an alpaca. Yeah. Take your alpaca for a walk. Yeah, why not?
So, what sort of groups or what sort of women are going out with you, Rosie?
Because of my networking, because of the people that I know, they are generally self-employed business women of all sorts of ages, but women who want to just take a moment for themselves, bit of self-care. Women who I suppose are fortunate enough to be able to say, no, this time is for me. And do it, and you know what happens. I mean, it's not networking and walking. Never ever build it as that. But you meet someone and you say, "What do you do?" Because that's the kind of first thing that you say, isn't it? Hello, what's your name? What is it that you do? Trying to find a something that you can talk about. And I know that supportive relationships have built up, and I know that business has happened. It's not the point, but I know it happens because we're women, and that's what we do. Yeah.
So part of the Women in Business networking group that you've started as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so like I said, it's women supporting women in business. So you don't have to be in business for yourself. It's just you are a business and professional woman, and it's about coming together as a network for support, to build that supportive relationship. So it's not a referral based organization like some others. The idea is that we build the support network, and we build the relationships, and we get to know each other, from which referrals flow. And I'm building, I've got a lively group in Cheshire, and I'm building the Liverpool group because I think we've got some amazing, fabulous, strong women in Liverpool, and I would love to support them.
Amazing. So can it be done with them both sort of things together, because they tie in nicely, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting out in the away from business, and then also meeting each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. A number of my women in business ladies came paddleboarding to because it's a safe environment and a safe space, because it's not about pointing the finger and laughing when you fall off. It's about holding the board steady and helping you to jump back on again. And that actually is the same whether it's in business or, in the middle of the river.
Yeah. And do you feel that people will come along, as you've said, it's a safe space? Sometimes I find it like, when people go to work out and things like that, the hardest thing that they do is to walk in through the door, because they're always self-conscious about, oh, I'm not the best. And I always laugh with the newbies. So any newbies in the group always stand at the back. So any fitness class, they all stand at the back. And it happened last week. I had 2 new ladies start me Thursday, and it's an older adults class, and they both stood at the back. And then at the end, I said, never stand at the back of a fitness class. I said, always stand on the front. And they were like, why? I said, because an instructor will never eyeball the person in front of them. They always look sort of above their heads, like to the people at the back. So I said, you're just always looking at the new people at the back. And so, but yeah, it is getting through the doors, isn't it? And breaking those barriers into, being able to go and do something else, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, it's about the chat that we have before they come to make sure that they know exactly. It's meeting the expectations and allaying the fears. Are there wetsuits? Do we wear buoyancy aids? Do I have to be able to swim? What happens if I get wet? Are there toilets? What happens if?
Yeah.
Or, answering all those questions. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Rosie, when does it all happen? Is it structured? Is it like 3 times a week, or is it twice a month? How does it all work?
Okay, so there's this tells you the strength of and the pace of what we do. Okay, so there's a Monday meander, first Monday of the month. There's a Thursday walk, which is not fast and furious, but just a bit further than the Monday meander, which is also monthly. There's a Sunday saunter, which is for families or for people who can't come during the week. And then there's paddle club once a month. And then there's a paddleboard or a canoe lesson for people who don't have any craft once a month. And I've started off with once a month, and I'm going to get a feel for take up. Because there's me and one other lady doing all this. So I'm going to get a feel for take up this summer. And then, I would love for there to be always a Monday meander, always a Thursday walk, not always a Sunday walk, because I've got to fit all the rest of the things in my life in. But yeah, to increase it.
Do you get people sort of trying the different things? I mean, like, you cross services, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had lots of ladies come paddleboarding who say, yeah, I'm absolutely loved it. Thank you very much. I've tried it now. When are you walked?
Okay. And I take it there's no fellas in sight on these walks or paddles or.
Right. So the courses. I will do 2 sessions, one morning, one afternoon. One will be women only, one will be available to everyone. What I don't do is deal with children. I deal with children in the guides. I don't want to deal with children. I've got to have a different license and all sorts of things. I'm not doing it. So I'm only dealing with adults. Okay,
good. And where does it all take place? At different places or?
Yeah, so right now the paddling takes place at Chester because there's a free slipway and it's easy access and the river is slow flowing and safe.
Yeah.
The walks all over the show, North Wales, Wirral, Pendle, that sort of area, Horwich, you name it, we go.
Is the dog allowed to come on the walk?
Yes.
Sorry, does.
Yes, I'd rather dogs than children, to be fair, Helen.
Well, yeah. I thought that, yeah. I was just wondering because I was looking at the dates when, and I was trying to work out. And in the summer holidays, my rota changes because I teach different things. And I just thought it'd be quite cool to get out with the dog and go for a nice walk in the hills and stuff like that. So if she can come, it's even better.
Dog's very, very welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool at all that. Sorry, Des, I get there.
Last one on the river. Do you just sail up and do it, or do you need a license, or do you need permission?
Right. Well, it actually, the answer is it depends on the river. So at Chester, we the general public have an ancient right of navigation all the way up to the mean high water mark. So it's actually as far as Farmdon and a bit beyond. So it's about 12 miles upriver. So no, to go on the Dee at Chester, we don't need a license. There are parts of the Dee that are where the banks are owned by fishing clubs and we can't have access. Canals, you need a Canals and River Trust license. You need a waterways license.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Albert Dock, you're allowed in the Albert Dock as well, aren't you? You don't need a license for the Albert Dock.
No, that's
part
not
of the dock, isn't it? Is it?
Strictly, yeah. For part of the dock, certainly most people, you can't just turn up as a member of the public and paddle. You've got to be licensed for the dock. It's owned by Mersey Docks and Harbour, isn't it?
I think so.
They issue licenses.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. No.
Don't tell them.
We'll just say nothing on that.
So at the end of all that, that means anyone can turn up and come to your thing on the River Day. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to share of Pats and Paddles Facebook page on our Facebook page so that people can check it out.
Thank you.
Because it's cool, and there is I think during lockdown, lots of people sort of experience the great outdoors a lot more. I think with all the travel stuff that's going on at the moment, there's going to be a lot of people holidaying in the UK a little bit more, and what a great way to get out and about and meet other people. And sometimes, people haven't done these things, so they might never have been on a walk. But if you go with somebody who knows what they're doing, you're then able to have a little go yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those, isn't it? So if you come out with me, I've organised the car parking, I know where the cafes are, I know where the toilets are, I know the way up, I know the way down. All you have to do is come out and enjoy the walk. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of taking away all that hassle. Yeah, I was actually, can I just butt in? I've just remembered, because it only happened, 8 o'clock. It only happened about 3.5 hours ago. I have booked, in partnership with the Big 7 Adventure, that I will do a canoe camping weekend for beginners. So put in on the 7, meander down in the boats, carrying everything, wild camp, and then carry on a bit further down, wild camp, and stop probably to cafe or a pub or something for lunch. And then so 3 days canoeing, 2 days overnight, wild camping on the 7. I'm so excited.
Do we know when that is?
Yeah, it will be the 30th of September to the 2nd of October.
I'm in for
So what's the difference between wild camping and ordinary camping, Rosie?
Toilets.
Okay, that's it.
There aren't any. When you're wild camping, you're wild camping. If you need to, you take your trowel.
Yeah, you're not on a campsite. It's like say camping at the side of the river, or at the bottom of a mountain, or on a mountain or something like that. So your wild camping is you just sort of go along and
completely kind of back to nature. Yeah, that digital detox. Yeah, that.
Yeah. All right, so that'll definitely be women only. That one, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm up for that.
You can take the dog. I don't know the dog.
Can she wouldn't. I don't know whether she'd sit in a canoe.
Yeah. Well, bring her along to a canoe.
She'd swim.
And try it.
She'd swim next to us.
Sorry, Rosie. Where's that going to be?
On the 7.
On the 7. Okay.
On the River 7. So around the Shrewsbury area.
Wow.
I'm up for that. I'm well up for that.
Yeah, you definitely like that kind of stuff, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And like just going away and not having to think about anything. And when you. So I was a girl guide when I was younger, and like I was a brownie, and then I was a girl guide, and I absolutely loved it because you just all muck in together, don't you? You pitch the tent and you all stay. Then you do all mad adventures, and it's. We took the kids about 3 years ago, and we took them to Mulvama, my little people who, possibly have never been anywhere. And the reason we take them to Mulvama is so that they can say they've been to Wales, you know, when they go back to school. And we took them all. So we went up Mulvama, we came down Mulvama, and then we drove to Loggerheads, which is like opposite Colomendy, for, you know. And then we walked along the River Allen. And then I said, right, okay, we're all getting in the river now. And they were going, what do you mean? I said, take your shoes and I said, we're getting in. And so all these little people and all the grown-ups were going like, oh, and I said, oh, they're all right. They can all, and we all got in, and the dog was in, and she was having like the best day ever. And then we all got out, and then we walked, and then we got an ice cream. And I think I got them a little Mackey's on the way home or something. And then they all fell asleep on the bus, you know, on the way home. And do you remember years ago when you used to go out and you were playing out tired?
Yeah.
So you'd been out all day and you come in and you feel playing out tired. And I wanted to do a retreat called Playing Out Tired, where grown-ups go and take yourself back to, you know, you've got like, you can just go and do like play, I don't know, play tick, play hide and seek, play climbing in the trees, play manhunt and all those sort of games and stuff that when you finish for the day, you know, like no mobile phones or no electronic things. I mean, you can take them for photographs and things. And that's what I said to the kids. I said, take your phones, I said, for photographs. I said, but don't be on your phone when you're out, when you've got all this beautiful stuff to see. And we had like 15-year-olds walking, holding hands with like 4-year-olds. And none of them, a few of them took photographs and things like that, but none of them had their phone. They weren't checking the phones because they were just having too good a day, weren't they? And that's what, that sort of weekend that Rosie's just described sort of takes you back, doesn't it? With
well, there's things as well, isn't there, that you possibly take for granted. So you're used to walking up mountains. Oh, excuse me. You're used to walking up mountains. So we went up Mole Arthur.
One of my faves, that.
Up the steps. And that you can just see the whole of kind of the Denby Valley stretching out. And I remember one youngster, she must have been 15, 16, and she said to me, gosh, I didn't know there was so much of Wales.
Wow.
You know, and you just think, yeah, exactly that, Helen. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And some people don't experience that. And for us, you know, we've been fortunate enough to be able to go out and do these things, you know. And for some young people and some older people as well, you know, they don't get the chance or the opportunity or the fear creeps in, you know. And I remember when we went on our first sort of proper walk, as we say, you know, in the mountains and in the hills and things. And you know, we were like super prepared. So we had like all the clobber, we had like, you know, the wet gear and everything. And people are going, what are you taking that big bag for, you know, with all your wet gear? And I was like, well, you never know what the weather's going to be like when you're out and about. And I remember starting Snowdon and we were in our shorts and t-shirt. And we got to the top and it was freezing. I've never been like, it was proper Baltic. We had like a hat, scarf, gloves. You know, there's a photograph of us like you can just see our eyes. And it lashed down all the way down to the bottom. And we were just like, you know, it's dripping off your nose and everything. And then you're seeing other people walking up and you're thinking, oh, you've got flip-flops on me. You're not going to go because they're not prepared to be out there.
I love Wales for that reason. The weather can change. Like we and them were going to Coombe Midwell about 5 years ago. And we had to be about 20 minutes into the walk and had to turn back because of the snow.
Wow.
And about an hour later, we were outside in the sun having a coffee. But that fascinates me, that. The weather fascinates me, you know. And have you ever been there? But that'd be a good little walk for you, Rosie. Coombe Midwell.
Yeah, it's lovely around there. I know.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, glorious. Do you know the first time I ever went on Snowdon, we went from Penny Pass and we went up the pig track. And just exactly as you described, Des, it was absolutely dreadful. And we got to the final push and we thought, there's no fun in this, and turned around. And I did that over a series of 3 or 4 years. I did that 3 or 4 times. Each time we got there, the weather was just abysmal. And then the last time we did it, we ended up on Crib Goch. Have you done Crib Goch?
No.
That's the really tricky side, isn't it?
It's a really, really steep ridge, literally like that, with 1,000 foot away down the other side. It's very definitely squeaky bum time, if I can say that on the show.
Yeah.
But it's all right if you concentrate, except when you meet someone coming the other direction.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you go, but I can say I've done it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, never again.
But,
Yeah.
well, I've got nothing else to prove, have I?
Exactly, you've done it, haven't you?
No,
You've
no,
got,
yeah, you've
My
done it.
excuse, I'm sticking to it. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
But it's those days, isn't it? It's those adventures that the time that I have been places, shouldn't say this really out loud, but the time that I've been places that I, in conditions where I should not have been there, they're the adventures you remember, aren't they?
Of course they are. Yeah. They're your memories, aren't they, of what you're making? And as well, it's also your sense of achievement of what you can actually do when you put your mind to it. There's lots of people. There's a great saying, isn't there? There's no such thing as bad weather. It's inappropriate clothing. I think it might have been Audrey Hepburn or someone like that who said it. And my saying is like, you're not made of ice and sugar, you won't melt. Because a bit of water, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
But if you're going for a walk in the mountains, you shouldn't expect that it's going to be a nice day. No. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Don't go thinking, it's a nice day, we'll go for a walk in the mountains, because it can change in a second, And but that's what I love about it. I love the unpredictability about the weather,
But I think that's part of isn't it going with like Rosie, who's an experienced walker who's, can take a group of people.
There's a lot for that. Yeah.
Well, it's about making sure. I mean, for me, with my groups, it's about making sure that they know what to take with us.
Yeah.
And of course, I've got extra kit, and I've got a few extra things in the back of my car that I go, have you got? Let me lend you this.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case.
But there's that peace of mind, Rosie, especially if you've not done it before.
Yeah.
If you know that the person leading you is experienced, shall we say. It's a big safety net for them,
Sure. But experienced, qualified and insured, I mean, those are your kind of three, aren't they?
And also being a Girl Guide leader. That's a big, massive tick for me.
Oh, right.
That instills me with massive confidence.
Okay.
If you can take a gang of kids and take them out on Duke of Edinburgh's and take them camping and take them on all adventures, then you can take a group of, although probably it's easier to take the guides than it is to take a group of adults.
No, you're right, because that field craft, you never know when you're going to need it as well, especially in the mountains,
Yeah.
It's what the Girl Guide, it prepares you, doesn't it? The Girl Guide prepares you to be...
Yeah, I mean, they teach so much, huge studies about the mental resilience, actually, that being in the guides does, because you're allowed to fail. So many kids have never experienced failure, but failure comes in, you didn't win that game, or you didn't quite meet that challenge. You've worked together as a team and it didn't quite work. That's all right. It's a safe space to do that. We just work out how we do it next time, or and you learn. But it's all that kind of team working, communication, resilience, all those kind of soft skills that actually poor teachers don't have time to deal with in school, or it's not appropriate for them to kind of try and instill in school. Yeah, we do 100%. All that, as well as I always say, if you go into a toilet and the light doesn't work, I always say, it's all right, I'm a Girl Guide, I can wee in the dark.
Definitely. We went camping in Loch Lomond and with the guides, and the weather was that bad that a river, like stream, came through our tent. And they packed our tent up, and we went and stayed in they had dormitories. And the weather was that bad that they packed us up and we went and stayed in the dormitories. But it was just an amazing, like, I think we went for 5 days.
That happened to us on Scafell Pike, that.
Did it?
While we were doing the 3 Peaks as well.
Wow.
And the guy, he was a Royal Marine Commando who took us, and he was considering aborting the challenge, We said, you're choking out. He was just done Ben Nevis, She hasn't taken in now. And but it was like walking down in a river, pitch black, couldn't see, But you know what? It's dead exciting. dead excited.
And that's when you've got to dig deep, isn't it?
Wasn't at the time.
No.
Well, you're right.
No.
You're right. It's and it's amazing what the body can do when the mind takes over. You know, because you've got no
100%.
other choice. You've just got to get back to that van. You know,
100%.
you have to do it.
So Des, before we run out of, my mum says that's when I discovered peanut butter and jam toast. It was, mum, when I was on Girl Guides, and I still have peanut butter and jam on my toast every morning. I have a bagel with peanut butter and jam. It's the best breakfast ever. So Des, tell us your red face moment.
Oh, it happened on Saturday, just gone. I was in this lady's house, and it's one of them Georgian houses, you know, in town. And anyway, we were discussing some business and outlining a time scale for doing the jobs, you know. And I was on my way out, and I backed into a mop bucket, and it went all over the beige carpet.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And we just looked at each other. And you know what? She burst out laughing, which I was so relieved. But do you know what? I was dead embarrassed. I could feel myself, you know. I said, "Oh, but listen, anyway, I'm going to go round tomorrow to see how it's dried out, you know. So if not, I'll get a carpet cleaned for her, you know." But do you know what? She was fine about it, but I was mortified.
Cringe factor.
Yeah.
So Sandra's red faces. She agreed to bring the drum, you know, on the dragon boat race. She's terrified of water. She's absolutely terrified. And Marty Shang got her in the canoe. But then she sat on the chair, which was actually a chair on top of the canoe thing like that. Anyway, when she sat on the chair, which was ridiculous, she ran. She just got back off again. Fortunately, there was someone else to take over banging the drum. And she watched from the side. But anyway, I was right to run as two other boats completely capsized, and she might have got her hair wet, mightn't she? You know, she'd have been fuming.
Well, I'm gonna stand up for her. Okay, if you hold your hands like that, and then put a hand like that, that is honestly the size of the, and you are perched a good 6 to 8 feet above the water. So good on you, Sandra, for for sitting on it in the first place. Obviously it would break under my weight, but you are.
She sent me a picture of the. She sent me a picture of the piano fork. There's no way you'd have sat on that.
Well, not very much. Yeah.
Was it only? Is that on the edge of the boat? Is it?
Sort of like on the at the front of the boat, but it's high up. You're like actually high up off the boat.
Right.
Yeah. And there's nothing either side of you. It's not like, you know, if you're steering and you're standing out, you've got a dirty great oar to hang on to, or if you're paddling, you know. No, you are very precarious.
And you've got a drum as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So shout out to any grown-ups who've done amazing things. Des, have you got any grown-ups you want to shout out to?
Well, that lady was very understanding. But I think this week, John Howie is listening. He had a big birthday this week.
He did.
So happy birthday, John. And he's been great with us over the last couple of months, hasn't he? So
he's been brilliant.
Big shout out to John Howie. I won't give out your age out, John.
Yeah.
But it was a big one, and it wasn't 50, and it wasn't 70.
What about you, Rosie? Have you got any grown-ups you want to shout out to?
I'd like to shout out, it's a bit of a theme developing, isn't it? I'd like to shout out to the 5 amazing women who gave up 25 hours on Saturday into Sunday to take little guides who had never camped before on a 25-hour camp. Because, amazing. You know, it's all the bits that you don't see, isn't it? It's all the paperwork before, it's all the planning, it's all the food buying, it's all the making sure the tents, it's all the this, it's all the that. And then they give up the 25 hours. And the kids just had the best time.
Brilliant. It's all the not sleeping because they're all talking. You've got to say,
wow,
like that, isn't
it's because at 4 o'clock in the morning, of course, it's light, isn't it? So it must be getting up time. Yeah. And then, of course, they are crotchety and grumpy from about 10. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well done to all the guide leaders and everybody else. I'm going to give a shout out to my Uncle Ken because it was his special birthday. Well, he was 85 yesterday. So a big shout out to my Uncle Ken. Happy birthday to him. So Rosie, quickly, a positive challenge.
Oh, positive challenge. Right. This is a busy weekend, isn't it, for many? Dashing here, dashing there, organising a street party or attending or whatever. So my positive challenge is go find yourself some nature, even if it's just down the bottom of the garden, and just sit for 5 minutes and breathe and just listen to the nature around you and just let your head relax.
I love that.
Wow.
I'm definitely going to do that.
So
And
there
Rosie,
you go. When you said that, Rosie, I was relaxing now.
I know.
Well, if you do, you do.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
So our time is up. It's been super fast. Thank you, Rosie, massively for joining us. Thank you massively again to Des for stepping in. And Rosie is going to give us our closing quote or mantra that she lives by.
Okay, so my mantra that I live by is, if you can be anything in the world, be kind and be happy.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll see everybody next week. Good night,
Well
everyone.
done, Rosie.
Good night.
Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Good night.